Mr. Brown.
Me take out, make a better sit on the boy. We go in on your belly, don't it? Whoa. Yesterday we spoke about the box. The box that you live in, the box that you're contained in, the box that you will find yourself in if you do not break the parameters that your parents have given you and that society has placed on top of you. Okay, cool. So now that you understand how to get out of your box, I want you to know that next is now you need to figure out who the f you are. If you don't know who the you are, how you gonna operate in this world? I want, like, think about that. The box is for folks that don't mind cruising through life. So if you in your life feel okay in your box, stay there. You shouldn't feel like I'm telling you to get out your box if you like your box. If you like your box, like yesterday we talked about a strapping young man who wants to be in the financial sector because that's where his parents aligned him to be with, right? So that's the box they created for him and told him that when he was young, and then fed him that until he was a bit of an adult. Now he's in the middle of a big city living in this small ass box that his company pays for in the financial district. Cool, but he wants to be an artist. If instead he just wanted to be a high level executive within the financial industry, stay in your box, right? Do not feel like because the pressures of people on the outside extreme, people that bash society in general, also the entrepreneurs who break all the rules of any box and want to live outside in freedom, do not have the pressures, because they will be pressures, because they're KPI, key people of influence, who will speak out towards the bell curve, right? So understand that if the majority of society sits in the average bell curve, so they sit around here, and the KPIs on the outside, the extremists, talk badly about the average, but they have a platform to do so, you will feel inclined to get out of the average. However, if you like the box that you sit in, if you enjoy being in the financial district because that's what you want, if you enjoy to be in whatever box that you currently sit in, stay there. There is no pressure to get out of your box. The entrepreneurship lifestyle is extreme for a reason. It's not the average, the main median of everybody, because it's hard. Not only is it hard, it's not for everybody. Like, your life just isn't set up that way. Some people just aren't built for it. You're just not cut from that cloth. And that's okay. No one is telling you that you should get out of your box if you like the box. However, if you want to get out the box, this is what you have to do once you're out the box. Okay, cool. So we figured out that being in the box is no longer for us, right? Now it is time to adjust your life to getting out of the box. And when you get out of the box, you're gonna have no attachment, because the box comes with parameters, rules, guidelines, things that are based within a lot of bias that you then take as rules that you don't want to break. And you don't want to break those rules because that's what's been told from you since you were a child. In the Caribbean, like I'm a Jamaican, there's a lot of these things that they speak about within my culture that I think is asinine. Like, it's just fuckery. It's stupid. As you learn and you grow up to be an adult, you're like, yo, what the fuck were we told when we were kids? But because we were conditioned to understand that as law, you will continue to keep that in your life and continue to abide by those rules. So when you break yourself out of your box, you get out of the boundaries that your parents have put you in, you have to know that now you need to live a life worth living. You've gotten a new blank canvas. And if your blank canvas has nothing on it, what do you need to go do? Try some shit, some new shit too, some shit that you've never thought of before. Bro, go ski, go do shit that you thought you would never be able to do. Go jump out of a plane, go get a tattoo, go do what pleases your life and what you feel is true to you and what you want it to look like. Because again, mortality waits us all. When we were all on our deathbed, no one's coming with you. Your fucking casket doesn't have a bunk bed. Your fucking casket isn't for the people that are living in mourning you. And if you, like, come on, you have to think about it that way. Bro, go do some shit. Story time. When I got on the plane to go to Japan, I was given several options to do, right? I don't know. Like, I'm not going to say, oh, I was destined and I knew that I wanted to go to Japan. Fuck no. Like, sure, I was dabbling into a little bit of anime, but I didn't really give up. You know what I mean? Like, what I understood in that moment of time that my life was shifting. Soccer was no longer my main focus. And so what I did was I looked at the map. Germany, London, Italy, Greece, Argentina, Brazil. Those were pretty much the options, I believe. And then Japan. I look at the fucking map. I'm like, yo, I don't want to go to Europe yet. I can do that later. I want a culture shock. I don't want a cousin. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to, I've lived in the US all my life. I don't want a cousin of the US. I want a fucking opposite stranger of the US. That's what I want. I want to feel that. I want to be put in something I don't fucking know, because right now, my reality of soccer that I held so close to me and that I built an identity around is now shattered. So what do you need to do? I need to get the fuck away from here and go create like a new being. So I picked the furthest thing from what my reality was, which was Japan. And it was certainly a shock. Once I got over there, it wasn't so much that it was a shock, but it was that I isolated myself and I was allowed to do and be who I wanted to be and figure out how to kind of maneuver within my own spirits. And we'll talk about how when you're alone, you better make sure you're truly alone, because when you're alone, you're not always alone. Different video. So now for you, understand that if you're breaking the current reality that you live in, because your box to a degree is the reality that you sit in. And you have to know that once you jump out of that box, you're basically shattering what you knew and what you previously knew. And your body is always going to kind of conform to the habits and the routines and the laws and the ideologies that was placed on you from this box. You have to be bold enough and courageous enough to understand that you're going to feel like you're breaking a law, because the reality that you once sat in doesn't abide by those rules. So imagine if you've driven a car all your life. You've only driven a car. You've never experienced any other driving experience. You've driven a car all of your life. There are rules and ways of the road that you have to abide by. You jump out of your car and you go into an airplane, a jet at that. And now you have to go into the sky and go operate in the sky. But there are other rules up in the sky that you haven't found yet, and you got to go figure it out. Let's be real, bro. It's not going to be the same experience, nor is it going to make you feel good in the beginning, nor are you going to know what the fuck you're doing. But at least if the sky is where you want to be and you don't get in the fucking plane, you're never going to experience what the joys and what awaits you in the sky if you just get accustomed to this little box. And even when you're in the sky, if you follow the rules of the car in a plane, you're gonna fuck yourself up. It's not gonna be the true experience of flying. So know that once you jump out of your box, yes, a world awaits you, a free world open to you. You are the artist of your canvas. Build it, build your canvas. Make your life what you want it to be. Do not subjugate yourself to the rules and obligations of what was placed on you in a box that you don't even want. And once you get out, free yourself from that. And that takes a lot. It's not just, oh, you get out your box and now I'm just gonna go fly to Argentina or something and then go live a life and figure it out. Yes, while that's a part of it, you have to detach your mind state, because your mind state will always grab onto the things and the influences that were provided to you while you're in that box. So also know that anything else, and I want you really to deep this, bro, anything else that attaches you to your box, you're going to have to relinquish. And we've spoken about it in another video, and we'll go in depth in a couple of weeks about it. But the tether that you have to your parents and the ideas and perception of that they have of you in their brain, you have to cut that. It's like an umbilical cord, a mental umbilical cord. They have high influence over your life as an adult. They have high say on what you do and where you go. Imagine this. You tell your parents, right, that have put you in this box, that let's take the young strapping man that was in the financial district in a big city. Imagine he tells his parents, I'm quitting my job, I've saved enough money to go travel to Australia, and I want to become a painter, or I'm gonna go look at the nature scenery so that I can really adapt and get into the space and the mental space of painting. His mother says no, I don't think that's a good idea. She's never been to Australia a fucking day in her life, nor does she even get on fucking planes to understand how they operate. But yet she gives him the influence that Australia is a bad place. It's too far to be on a plane for 24 hours. He doesn't want to go there anymore because his mother has now pulled the umbilical cord and ripped his ass right back into the box. You must relinquish yourself from any influence that tells you that you must stay in this box. That means mother, that means father, that means friend, that means cousin, family, job, anybody, associate. I don't give a fuck who they are. Anybody who gives you influence and tells you that you need to be in this box, you need to get rid of ASAP. It's not even a question, because the same way that we talked about being in the sky but following the rules of the road, that's what's gonna tether you back to following the fucking rules of the road, or keep you in that dumbass mind state. And that's even worse when you're not in the box that you fucking set up and you escape the box, but yet your mind is still in the fucking box that they created. It's a hard fucking thing to get over. Bro, I keep it as a 1,000-way transparent with you. Myself has been out of the box for years. Physically out of the box. My mind has been trapped in a fucking box. Understand what I'm saying here? When you get out of your box and you build the entrepreneurship lifestyle and you start to live the life that you want to lead, right? And you get down the road and you continue to realize like, yo, I'm going down the road. This is the road I want. But you're abiding by rules that used to plague you in the box. You'll realize that when you look around, your life is still the same in a different fucking box. What does that mean? The life that you currently live physically, so the place that you live, the person you live with, the things that you adopt, your hobbies, all of that requires you physically. Take that, put it in a different location geographically, you're still gonna live the same life if your mind is stuck. You're gonna have the same hobbies. You're gonna have the same type of friends. You're gonna have the same fucking traumas and tribulations, simply because you're still living the same life mentally, but in a different geographical place. Just because you uprooted from your hometown, went to a different fucking town or city, does not mean that the established rules of that box still don't plague your life in that new geographical area. You have to understand that. So now once you're out of your box, it's really not just jumping out the box and feeling free. No, it's jumping out of the box and detaching all umbilical cords that kept you bound to what the fuck had you locked up in that box in the first place. So think about it, bro. You were told don't go to big concerts. Hey, I'm not that any of these are associated to me, but hypothetically, if you always desire to be at a concert, but your parents or your sister, siblings, whatever, told you, hey, going to big arenas is not a smart idea, but you in your entire life, you've never been to a concert, but you desired to go to one. Just to experience. Who the fuck is stopping you once you geographically move away from your parents and your peoples and get out of that box? It's the mental fucking jail they put you in. Your mind can be locked in a cage even though your body's not. So understand who and what has influence over you and how it's deeming ownership over you. You're not fully autonomous if the people around you can influence you and manipulate you to make decisions when they have no control over your physical state. That's the number one rule of life, bro. Make sure that you have no influence besides what your heart and your mind can come together and say, yes, that's what we choose. Because anything else is not you. And the canvas that we're trying to build outside of the box that you're just coming from requires full and complete effort into being free to decide what you want. And if you can't decide for yourself, bro, it might be time for you to go to fucking solitude. We spoke about this videos ago. Take the time to find solitude, because what solitude does is break you. It shatters you. Not only does it shatter your physical body, but it will shatter your mind. And that's what you need. You don't need to be in a different geographical area with the same fucking box hailing you up, locking you up in your brain. Got you in a fucking vice grip, full Nelson, nigga, you can't get out. Fuck out of here. Get out. Silence your brain. Silence the people around you. Silence the influences. Silence the world. Silence every fucking being that is not you. If the rhythmic being of yourself cannot figure out how to get out of their fucking box, you need to go into solitude. Solitude is a quiet place. You cut off everything and everyone, no matter what your previous relationship with them. Shatter your mind. Get yourself out of this jail cell. Because a lot of folk are not in the geographical area that their box was built in, but their mind is tethered to that box. Parent, sibling, dad, mom, auntie, cousin, grandma, job, wife, children sometimes. Think about it. You have to be unbound, mentally, spiritually, physically. Unbound. That's the only way you're gonna find any grasp. That is the only thing I believe that is closest to freedom, is when you truly break yourself from this box. There's no other way. There's no other way, bro. Yo, you struggle with the issues that you struggle with, not because you're not big enough and bold enough and bad enough to get over them, but because something is tethering you. Whether it be the trauma that you had when you were a kid, the fucking hurt that a girl caused you, the lack of attention that your mom didn't give you, abandonment that your father may have done to you, bro, figure it out. Because a lot of y'all issues are not really true issues of yourself, but issues of your fucking parents, grandma, aunties. Yo, it's so deep. Generational curses are this. The box that your mind sits in is this, and you have to get over it. And I promise you, what you're also doing that feeds into the issues that you continue to have, even though you're not in that physical area, is that your fucking parents are still God to you. I said what I said. Your parents are still God. Your parents still run the fucking activities that you go through because they fucking implanted some bullshit in your brain. They implanted some shit when you were a kid in your fucking brain. Get out! It's a scary thing, bro. And it's gonna feel like treason almost. How can you rip away an umbilical cord that's been made and created you and has stabled you and given you the nutrients you needed and the understanding of the world that has kept you so whole today? How? When you're a fucking adult, you have to understand that umbilical cord is the same fucking shit that's gonna keep you locked, trapped. Umbilical cord is meant to be cut. So cut it. Yo, cut it, bro. Cut it. Because otherwise you're going to be living a life that you do not desire. And again, I will always go back to mortality. When you sit on a fucking bed and you're on your last breath and you feel it, something is coming to take you out of this physical body. You are going to ask yourself, did I live a life worth living? I've asked that question to so many elderly folk, bro. I used to ask that question every time I had engagements with an elderly folk when I was a fucking busser at a restaurant or when I had time at the gym. Because one thing that we have over old folk is time. And what they always admire about young folk is how youthful we are, because they understand that the days in front of them are less than the days behind them. While it's the opposite. The days behind you are fewer than the days you got in front of you, which means your runway is so fucking long that you could fuck up and still get in the fucking air. But them, it's over. They've lived their life. They've done their time. So the next time, yo, I beg you, I implore you, the next time you see an old person, bro, go straight up to them. If they give you any inclination that they want to be around you, bro, allow it for 2 seconds. Allow it. Have them come in your space. Ask them one question. What is the one regret that you have in life? Just ask for one. Don't ask for many. Say one. In its simplest form, what is the one thing that you regret? And I promise you, every statement is going to start with, I didn't do this. I didn't try this. I didn't go here. I didn't. Bro, if you hear that, I didn't, bro, if you don't cut the fucking umbilical cord, my nigga, and go do some shit with your life, the fuck? This dumbass box that you been confined in, fucking you up. And you sitting here looking on YouTube, looking on fucking Google, asking everybody around, how the fuck do I get out of here? How did I end up here? Stop asking that question and get the fuck up out of there. Get the fuck up out of there. And don't ask nobody for advice. Zero. When you find and zero in what you want in life, bro, you just gotta go get it, bro. And there's nothing that you can't do, but you gotta understand that. You gotta meds that. You gotta meds that deep too, because it's not just, oh, you can go get it. Not only can you go get it, but you should feel no shame going for it. And therefore you need no influence. Truthfully, if you're stuck and you're truly in a place of despair, I would always go to a third party that has no understanding of you. Go to the opposite version of you. Go ask somebody who don't even live the same life you live about said answer or what you're trying to get over. Nobody close to you. Zero. Don't tell nobody close to you. Because what people close to you are going to do is try to tether you back. It's almost like crabs in a barrel without, like, indirectly. When you're going out and you are untethering and you are chopping these umbilical cords off you, because there's a fuck ton of them. When you start to shed all of this dead weight and you want to ascend and go to a different spot mentally, because it all starts in your brain, people realize that, bro. And the only thing they know is having you within their circle. And sometimes even, bro, on a deeper level, a different video, but just to touch on it, your presence almost makes someone else's reality. You got to know that too. So when you start to break from all of the people around you and want to ascend and go to a different space, you have to also know that you're shattering someone else's, a part of somebody else that they don't want to let go of, because the image they have in your brain, what they perceive of you is so ingrained in who they are that they can't allow you to leave, because then they're going to lose themselves. Too deep. Different video. Bro, rip the umbilical cords, breathe, and understand that it is okay. Go to a different place when you're stuck. Ask somebody on a different fucking living plane how to get out of it, or what they think of this situation. It's not even you need an answer. It's just get a different perspective from an outsider who doesn't live the culture or practices that you live. Simply ask, what do you think about this situation and how would you go about resolving it? Make it a hypothetical. Ask somebody on the internet. Once you're in a grocery store, ask somebody. I found biggest successes through that one easy task. People will help you if you ask. If someone says, how was your day? Answer with good. But if someone really wants to know how your day is and compliment your shoes and says, what do you do? And all of that, give them the tea. And it's not even give them the tea. You have to remember that it's not offloading trauma or venting. It's simply giving them a problem to solve. Let me ask you something real quick. And I don't mean to disturb you. So if you have somewhere to go, I will go about my business. Usually people will sit there because they are looking for community. They're looking to have communion with people and talk, no matter where you are. So bang, you lay the issue, make it as quickly as possible. This is why you need to work on your communication. Tell them what your life is in a hypothetical manner very quickly. Describe it. You should do it in 30, 45 seconds. Be like, yo, hypothetically speaking, think about this. If you're in a box, right? And you're doing things in that box that you don't want to, and there's also people that influence your brain on how you should operate in that box and where you should go and that you should never leave that box, what would you do about that situation? The reason why people are going to fucking talk about and want to give you advice is because the same fucking hypothetical that you're living, 90% of the fucking world is living. They're living a life that they don't want to lead. So they're going to give you, and you're probably going to hear the same response over and over and over and over. I would get out and relinquish all of my attachments to that box and the mental confines that it has me in. You're going to hear that. So how about you do this? Release yourself from that box and also the mental confines that it has you in. Boy, Mr. Brown.